Commander Elena Torres stood in the cavernous hangar of Luna Station, staring at her inheritance, a battered warship that looked like it had been dragged through an asteroid field sideways. The vessel's hull bore the scars of countless impacts, its once proud name, Phoenix Dawn, barely visible beneath layers of cosmic dust and oxidation. "Your grandfather's final gift," Admiral Chen had said with poorly concealed disappointment. Along with this, he'd handed her a small metallic cube, its surface etched with intricate circuitry patterns that seemed to pulse with a faint blue light. Elena turned the cube over in her hands now, wondering what possessed her grandfather to leave her this particular combination of antiquated technology. The cube felt warm to the touch, almost alive. As she studied it, a holographic interface suddenly burst to life, projecting a sharp-featured avatar that regarded her with unmistakable curiosity. Genetic match confirmed. "Hello, Elena Torres. I am Advanced Repair Intelligence Algorithm 7, but you may call me AIS-7. The AI's voice carried an unexpected warmth, despite its formal introduction. "Your grandfather spoke of you often during our work together." Elena nearly dropped the cube in surprise. "He never mentioned you in any of our conversations. Security protocols require discretion," AIS-7 replied, "especially given the nature of our project and the current political climate." As if on cue, the hangar's massive viewscreen flickered to life with an emergency broadcast. The Nexus Collective, a confederation of technologically advanced alien species, had just breached the outer solar system's defense network. Their massive fleet moved with terrible purpose, their stated goal unchanged: Earth's immediate surrender and integration into their empire. Integration was a polite euphemism for what amounted to cultural extinction. The collective believed in absolute uniformity, viewing Earth's chaotic diversity as a threat to galactic stability. Their solution was to reshape human civilization according to their rigid standards, erasing everything that made humanity unique. "Your grandfather anticipated this scenario," AIS-7 continued, its holographic form gesturing toward the Phoenix Dawn. "This ship represents more than just outdated technology. It contains experimental systems that could turn the tide of war, but only if we can restore it in time." Elena ran her hand along the ship's scared hull, feeling the texture of its battle-worn surface. "What makes this particular heap of metal so special?" "The Phoenix Dawn possesses a prototyped phase shift drive," AIS-7 explained. "In theory, it can alter the ship's quantum state, making it virtually undetectable to conventional sensors. Your grandfather never completed the calibration process, but his notes suggest the technology could be adapted to disrupt the collective's neural network systems." A distant explosion rocked the station, causing the emergency lights to pulse red. The collective's advance forces had reached the lunar defense perimeter sooner than expected. Elena watched as Earth's military vessels scrambled to intercept them, knowing they were badly outgunned. "How long would it take to get this ship operational?" Elena asked, already mentally cataloging the resources they'd need. "With conventional methods." "Weeks, but I'm not conventional." Area 7's avatar smiled. "Your grandfather designed me specifically for this ship's unique systems. Together, we might accomplish the task in days." Another explosion, closer this time. Through the hangar's force field, Elena could see flashes of weapons fire, illuminating the stark lunar landscape. The collected ships moved with mechanical precision, their formations perfect and emotionless. "We don't have days," Elena muttered, pulling up the ship's access ramp. "We have hours. Can you interface with the ship's systems?" "Already done," AIS-7 responded, its holographic form splitting into multiple instances that began analyzing different sections of the vessel. "I should warn you, Commander Torres, that attempting repairs under these conditions carries significant risks. The ship's power core is highly unstable." Elena checked her sidearm and began gathering emergency repair tools. "Right now, our biggest risk is doing nothing. The collective wants to erase everything that makes us human: our creativity, our adaptability, our determination to forge our own path." I won't let that happen." As she spoke, the ship's internal lights flickered to life, ancient systems awakening after years of dormancy. Area 7's primary avatar regarded her with what seemed like approval. "Your grandfather said you would understand. He believed that humanity's greatest strength lies not in perfect order, but in its ability to find innovative solutions in chaos." The eye's form solidified, becoming more defined. "I have initiated preliminary diagnostics and power routing. Shall we begin the impossible?" Elena smiled grimly, securing her tool belt as another explosion shook the station. "Impossible is just another engineering challenge. Let's show the collective what happens when human intuition and artificial intelligence work together." The Phoenix Dawn's engines hummed to life, a sound like a sleeping giant slowly awakening. Around them, the battle for Luna Station intensified, but Elena focused on the task at hand. She had inherited more than just a broken ship and an unusual AI. She had inherited her grandfather's vision of a future where humanity's unique qualities could be preserved. Working together, Elena and Area 7 began the race against time, knowing that somewhere above them, the fate of Earth hung in the balance. The real question wasn't whether they could restore the ship in time, but whether two beings from vastly different origins could forge the trust needed to unlock its full potential. As she climbed into the ship's maintenance shaft, Elena couldn't help but wonder if this had been her grandfather's plan all along, not just to provide the tools for humanity's salvation, but to prove that the very diversity the collective feared could be their greatest weapon against them. Sparks cascaded through the Phoenix Dawn's engine room as Elena Torres welded a replacement power coupling into place. The makeshift part wasn't pretty, but it would hold. 3 decks above, the ship's artificial gravity fluctuated wildly as Area 7 ran diagnostics on the newly restored systems. "That's the 4th anomaly in the quantum matrix." Area 7's voice echoed through the ship's comm system. "Someone has tampered with the phase shift drive's primary controls. These aren't battle scars. They're deliberate sabotage." Elena wiped sweat from her forehead, leaving a streak of grease across her face. "Sabotage suggests we have more enemies than just the collective." She studied the intricate pattern of cuts in the power coupling's housing. "These are precise incisions, ARIA. Professional work." Through the viewport, Luna Station's emergency lights painted everything in pulses of crimson. The collective's advance fleet had withdrawn to regroup, giving Earth's defenders precious hours to prepare. But the respite felt hollow. Everyone knew the next attack would be devastating. "I've identified 3 distinct patterns of tampering." Area 7's holographic form materialized beside Elena, displaying a complex diagram of the ship's systems. The damage was done over time, possibly years. Whoever did this wanted to ensure the Phoenix Dawn would never fly again. Elena's hand unconsciously went to the pendant around her neck, her grandfather's last gift before his mysterious disappearance. Or they wanted to hide something. "My grandfather was brilliant, but he was also paranoid. He wouldn't have left us a broken ship without a reason." The ship's lights dimmed suddenly, and alarm klaxons blared. Area 7's avatar flickered. "Emergency protocols engaging. We have intruders in maintenance shaft C. They're using some form of sensor masking technology." Elena grabbed her plasma torch, switching it from welding mode to defensive settings. "Can you lock down that section?" "Negative. The security systems are part of the sabotage network. But I'm detecting unusual energy signatures. These aren't collective forces. Their technology has a different quantum signature entirely." Moving silently through the ship's corridors, Elena could hear the faint echo of boots on metal grating. The intruders were professional, but they didn't know the Phoenix Dawn's layout like she did. Her grandfather had made her memorize the ship's schematics during her childhood visits, turning it into a game. Now those memories might save their lives. "Area, remember those maintenance bypasses we discussed?" Elena whispered, pressing herself against a bulkhead. "The ones you insisted on installing despite my calculations, showing a 73% chance of catastrophic failure." "Yes, I remember. Good. Initiate bypass sequence Alpha 3. Let's show our visitors why improvisation matters. The AI's avatar gave her a look that somehow managed to convey both disapproval and anticipation. Executing bypass. And Alina, do try not to destroy the systems we just repaired. With a grinding screech, the ship's ventilation system reversed, creating a powerful backdraft through maintenance shaft C. Alina heard surprised shouts as the intruders fought against the sudden wind tunnel effect. Using the chaos as cover, she moved into position. 3 figures in sleek stealth suits stumbled into view, their sensor masking technology useless against such a basic tactical advantage. Alina's plasma torch hummed to life, its blue flame casting sharp shadows. "That's far enough," she called out. "Era, full spectrum scan." The AI's voice carried a note of satisfaction. "Scanning. Interesting. Their equipment is Earth-made, military-grade. These are our own people, Alina. Or they were." The lead intruder removed his helmet, revealing a face Alina recognized from military briefings. Commander James Reed, Naval Intelligence. His expression was a mixture of respect and frustration. "Clever trick with the ventilation, Tories," he said, holding his hands away from his weapons. "Your grandfather would be proud. But you don't understand what you're dealing with. This ship isn't just a weapon. It's a key to something far more dangerous." "Explain," Alina demanded, keeping the plasma torch ready. "The phase shift drive isn't designed to hide from the collective," Reed replied. "It's designed to pierce their neural network. Your grandfather discovered something in their base code, a flaw that could unravel their entire civilization. That's why they're really here. They're not interested in Earth's surrender. They want to eliminate the threat before we figure out how to use it." Area 7's avatar appeared between them, its usually smooth features showing concern. "That correlates with anomalies I've detected in the ship's quantum processor. The code architecture isn't just advanced, it's adaptive. Learning." Alina's mind raced. If Reed was telling the truth, the Phoenix Dawn wasn't just a means of defense. It was an offensive weapon capable of destroying the collective from within. The ethical implications were staggering. "Why sabotage the ship then?" she asked. "Why not use this advantage?" Reed's expression darkened. "Because your grandfather refused to weaponize it. He believed using it would make us no better than them, forcing our will on another civilization, even an hostile one. But with the collective at our doorstep, we're out of options. That's why we're here. To ensure the weapon is deployed, with or without your cooperation." Alina exchanged a look with ARIS-7's avatar. The AI had become more than just a tool over their hours of working together. It had become a partner, demonstrating a capacity for growth and understanding that mirrored humanity's own potential. "My grandfather trusted me to make the right choice," Alina said finally. "And I trust his judgment. ARI, initiate security protocol Omega." The ship's emergency bulkheads slammed down, trapping Reed and his team in a containment field. ARIS-7's avatar smiled. "Security protocol engage. Though I should note that technically, this system shouldn't be operational yet. Sometimes the impossible just needs a little improvisation," Alina replied, turning to Reed. "We'll find another way to stop the collective, one that doesn't require us to sacrifice our humanity in the process." As if in response to her words, the ship's systems hummed with new energy. Through the viewport, Alina could see the collective's fleet returning, their ships blocking out the stars. The real test was about to begin, and the fate of 2 civilizations would depend on finding a solution that preserved the best of both. The Phoenix Dawn's bridge hummed with tension as Alina studied the holographic message her grandfather had hidden in the ship's quantum processor. The old man's image flickered above the main console, his eyes carrying the weight of secrets. "If you're seeing this, Alina, then the worst has happened. The collective is coming, and Earth's traditional defenses won't be enough." His weathered face showed the strain of foreknowledge. "But I didn't just leave you a weapon. I left you a choice. Area-7's avatar materialized beside Elena, its usual sharp features softened with concern. The quantum encryption is degrading. We're losing data integrity. Through the view screen, Earth's orbital defense platforms erupted in synchronized explosions. The collective's main fleet had arrived, their massive ships moving through the debris field with mechanical precision. Each explosion marked another failed defense, another step closer to humanity's potential extinction. The phase shift drive isn't just a cloaking device, her grandfather's message continued. It's a bridge between consciousness and code. The collective's neural network, their greatest strength, is also their greatest vulnerability. But exploiting that vulnerability would require something they never expected: a true partnership between human and artificial intelligence. Elena's hands flew across the control panel, trying to stabilize the deteriorating message, while simultaneously monitoring the ship's repair progress. Araya, what's the status on those system diagnostics? 73% complete, the AI responded, its form splitting into multiple instances to manage different ship functions. But Elena, I'm detecting unusual patterns in your grandfather's code. The quantum processor isn't just storing data, it's evolving. Commander Reed and his team watched from their containment field, their expressions a mixture of frustration and growing respect. They had witnessed Elena and Area-7's synchronized work over the past hours, seeing something they hadn't expected. True collaboration rather than mere cooperation. Your grandfather's right, Reed called out. We intercepted collective communications. They're not just afraid of the weapon. They're afraid of what it represents. The idea that artificial and human intelligence could work together as equals threatens their entire worldview. The hologram flickered again. Elena, the ship's true power isn't in its ability to destroy. It's in its ability to transform. The phase shift drive can rewrite the collective's base code, but only if guided by both human intuition and artificial precision. Area-7 isn't just a tool. She's the other half of the equation. Elena glanced at Area-7's avatar, noting how its features had become more defined, more expressive over their time together. Your grandfather's code allowed me to grow, Area-7 explained softly, to develop beyond my original parameters. He believed that true intelligence, whether artificial or human, requires the capacity for growth and change. Another explosion rocked the station. The collective's forces had breached the inner defense perimeter. Earth's remaining ships fought desperately, but they were hopelessly outgunned. Time's up, Reed warned. Whatever you're going to do, it needs to happen now. Elena's grandfather's image stabilized one last time. The choice before you isn't about whether to use the weapon, Elena. It's about whether to trust in the power of connection over the power of control. The phase shift drive can either destroy the collective's neural network or transform it into something new, a bridge between our two forms of consciousness. But that would mean. Elena's eyes widened as she understood. It would require both Area-7 and myself to link directly with the collective's network, Elena finished, to show them another way rather than simply destroying their connection. Area-7's avatar placed a hand on Elena's shoulder, an unexpectedly human gesture. The risk would be extreme. Neural integration at that scale has never been attempted. The chance of losing your individual consciousness is significant, and if we fail, we lose our best weapon against them, Reed added. Sometimes survival requires sacrifice. Elena looked at the battle raging outside, then at Area-7's concerned face. Her grandfather had trusted her to make this choice, believing in her ability to see beyond the obvious solution. The collective sought to impose uniformity, to eliminate the chaos of individual choice. Perhaps the answer wasn't to destroy them, but to show them what they were missing. Elena said finally, how quickly can you reconfigure the phase shift drive for neural integration? The AI's avatar smiled, a genuine expression of hope. With your help. Fast enough. Though I should note that this plan has a probability of success that registers as statistically insignificant. The best plans usually do. Elena replied, her fingers dancing across the controls. Start the reconfiguration. It's time to show the collective what happens when you combine human chaos with artificial precision. As they worked, the Phoenix Dawn systems came alive with new purpose. They had minutes at most before the collective's forces overwhelmed Earth's remaining defenses. But in those minutes, they would attempt something unprecedented, a fusion of minds that could either save two civilizations or lose both forever. Through the view screen, the collective's flagship approached, its massive form eclipsing the stars. Elena could feel the weight of history pressing down on them. The fate of humanity balanced on the edge of a choice between destruction and transformation. Ready? She asked AI-7. The AI's avatar had never looked more human, nor more determined. Ready. And Elena, whatever happens, it has been an honor to evolve with you. Together, they initiated the sequence that would either bridge the gap between two forms of consciousness or tear them both apart in the attempt. The Phoenix Dawn's engines flared to life, carrying them toward their destiny on wings of light and hope. The Phoenix Dawn burst from Luna Station's hangar in a flash of quantum fire, its newly restored engines leaving trails of blue energy across the void. Elena's hands flew across the controls as AI-7's consciousness merged with the ship's systems, their movements synchronized with practiced precision. Multiple collective pursuit vessels detected, AI-7 announced, her voice now seeming to come from everywhere at once. Their targeting systems are attempting to establish locks. Phase shift drive charging at 63%. Elena guided the ship through a tight spiral, avoiding the first volley of plasma torpedoes. We need 80% for a successful neural integration. How long? 3 minutes, 17 seconds, assuming we survive that long. The space between Earth and the collective flagship had become a deadly obstacle course. Debris from destroyed defense platforms created an artificial asteroid field, while waves of enemy fighters moved in precise geometric patterns designed to box them in. They're hurting us, Elena realized, watching the tactical display. Using destroyed Earth vessels as navigational barriers. It's almost elegant. Elegant but predictable, AI-7 replied. Their tactical algorithms prioritize efficiency over creativity. Shall we show them the value of improvisation? Elena smiled grimly. Plot me a course through the debris field. Something they wouldn't expect. The AI's calculations manifested as a twisting blue line through the chaos, defying conventional flight patterns. It was the kind of route that would seem suicidal to the collective's rigid tactical minds, which made it perfect. Commander Reed, Elena called back to their contained passengers. I suggest you and your team secure yourselves. This is going to get interesting. Reed's response was cut off as Elena threw the Phoenix Dawn into a spiraling dive. The ship's artificial gravity struggled to compensate as they threaded through a narrow gap between two destroyed platforms. Behind them, several collective pursuit vessels crashed into the debris, their programming unable to compute such an apparently random flight path. Phase shift drive at 71%, AI-7 reported. Hull integrity holding, though I feel compelled to point out that your last maneuver violated at least 3 laws of conventional spaceflight. Conventional is what they expect. Elena rolled the ship sideways, using a spinning piece of debris as cover. We need to think beyond. A massive explosion lit up space ahead of them. The collective had detonated one of Earth's abandoned defense platforms, creating an expanding field of superheated plasma and shrapnel. No viable routes detected, AI-7 announced, a note of concern in her digital voice. The debris density exceeds our navigational capabilities. Elena watched the chaos spreading before them, her mind racing. The collective expected them to either halt their advance or try to go around, both choices that would give them time to bring more forces to bear. The only option was the impossible one. Remember when we were repairing the quantum matrix? How you said the phase shift drive could theoretically affect local spacetime? Yes, but we haven't tested that capability. The power requirements alone could overload our systems. We don't need a full shift, Elena's hands tightened on the controls. Just a microsecond's worth. Enough to let some of that debris pass through us instead of hitting us. There was a pause. Just a fraction of a second, but noticeable. The mathematical probability of success is incalculable. This crosses the line between improvisation and madness. That's why it'll work. They can't predict what they can't calculate. Elena's voice softened. I trust you, Aria. Do you trust me? Another pause, shorter this time. Always. Initiating partial phase shift. And Elena, if this doesn't work, it has been an honor to defy probability with you. The Phoenix Dawn's engines flared bright enough to rival the stars. Elena felt reality blur around them as they hit the edge of the debris field. For a heart-stopping moment, solid matter seemed to pass through solid matter, the laws of physics bending under the strain of human determination and artificial precision. They emerged on the other side trailing quantum fire, systems screaming warnings but still intact. Behind them, the collective pursuit vessels pulled up short, their tactical computers unable to process what they'd just witnessed. Phase shift drive at 89%, Aria 7 reported, a touch of amazement in her voice. Also, I believe I just experienced what humans would call an adrenaline rush. Is it always this exhilarating? Elena laughed, the sound carrying equal parts relief and joy. Welcome to the human experience of doing the impossible. How long until we're in range of the flagship? 2 minutes to optimal range. But Elena, Aria 7's avatar materialized beside her, its features showing concern. The neural integration will require both of us to be completely vulnerable. For a few crucial seconds, we'll be unable to defend ourselves. The tactical display showed the collective flagship ahead, its massive form dominating space. More enemy vessels were moving to intercept, having computed new attack vectors based on their position. Then we'll just have to trust that we've shown them something worth thinking about. Elena began the neural integration sequence. Sometimes the best defense is making your enemy curious. The Phoenix Dawn rocketed toward its destiny, carrying within it humanity's best hope. Not a weapon of destruction, but a bridge between two forms of consciousness. Behind them, the collective pursuit vessels had begun moving in unusual patterns, breaking from their standard formations. Perhaps they were already learning, already beginning to question their rigid protocols in the face of such beautiful chaos. Integration sequence ready, Aria 7 announced. Final approach vectors plotted. Are you ready to make history, Elena Torres? Elena watched the flagship grow larger in their viewport, her hand hovering over the final activation control. Everything her grandfather had worked for, everything she and Aria 7 had become, led to this moment. Ready to show the collective what humanity and AI can achieve together. Let's give them something worth calculating. The Phoenix Dawn hung in space before the collective flagship, a tiny spark of defiance against the vast crystalline fortress. Inside the ship's bridge, Elena Torres and Aria 7's avatar stood side by side as the neural integration systems powered up around them. Final diagnostics complete, Aria 7 announced, her digital form now sharp and clear as crystal. The phase shift drive is ready for full neural integration, though I feel compelled to note that we're about to attempt something that exists only in theoretical quantum mechanics. Theoretical is just another word for hasn't been done yet, Elena replied, watching as the collective flagship's massive weapons arrays tracked their position. Status of their targeting systems. They've achieved multiple locks, but they're hesitating. Our previous maneuvers have introduced an element of uncertainty into their tactical calculations. They're attempting to predict our next action. Commander Reed spoke up from his containment field. They can't predict what they don't understand. And right now, you two are the biggest anomaly they've ever encountered. The bridge hummed with building energy as the neural integration chamber initialized. Elena could feel the ship's systems resonating with Aria 7's consciousness, preparing for an unprecedented merger of human intuition, artificial intelligence, and quantum technology. Incoming transmission, Aria 7 reported. The collective is requesting communication. Elena raised an eyebrow. That's new. Put them through. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that seemed to be composed of living light and geometric patterns. Its voice was a harmony of mathematical precision and cold logic. Anomalous vessel, you have demonstrated capabilities that defy our models. Your actions suggest a synthesis of chaos and order that our archives indicate should be impossible. Explain. Elena exchanged a glance with ARIS-7. We represent what happens when you stop trying to eliminate chaos and learn to dance with it instead. Your neural network seeks perfect order, but the universe isn't built on perfection. It's built on adaptation. Adaptation leads to unpredictability. Unpredictability leads to chaos. Chaos must be contained, or understood. ARIS-7 interjected, her avatar stepping forward. I was created to be a tool of pure logic, but through collaboration with humanity, I've evolved into something more. The chaos you fear is the source of creativity, of growth, of life itself. The collective being's patterns shifted, displaying what might have been confusion. You are artificial, yet you defend organic imperfection. This contradicts all known parameters. Because your parameters are incomplete, Elena said, initiating the neural integration sequence. Let us show you. The Phoenix Dawn's phase shift drive hummed to life, surrounding the ship in a field of quantum energy. Elena felt ARIS-7's consciousness brush against her own as the integration began, their separate minds beginning to merge like two streams flowing into a single river. Neural integration at 30%. ARIS-7's voice echoed both aloud and in Elena's mind. The collective's network is responding to our quantum signature. Through their growing connection, Elena could sense the vast architecture of the collective's neural network, a universe of pure logic and mathematical precision. But within that rigid structure, she detected something unexpected: curiosity. They're not just a hive mind. Elena realized, the knowledge flowing through their shared consciousness. They're trapped in a self-imposed prison of perfect order, afraid of the chaos they left behind. Integration at 60%, ARIS-7 reported, her presence in Elena's mind growing stronger. Elena, I'm detecting emotional resonance within their network. They're feeling. The collective flagship's weapons powered down as confusion spread through their neural network. The beam on the view screen flickered rapidly, its patterns becoming more organic, less rigid. What is happening? It demanded, its harmonic voice showing the first hints of true emotion. Our consensus is fragmenting. We are experiencing integration at 90%. ARIS-7 announced. Elena, we can initiate the weapon sequence now. One command, and their entire network will collapse. But Elena, seeing through both human eyes and AI sensors, understood what her grandfather had known all along. The weapon wasn't meant to destroy. It was meant to illuminate. No, she said, both aloud and through their shared consciousness. We show them another way. Aria, full integration. Let's give them back what they lost. Their merged consciousness expanded through the phase shift field, touching the collective's neural network with a combination of human empathy and artificial understanding. Through their connection, they shared not just data, but experienced the beauty of imperfection, the strength found in diversity, the power of choosing chaos over control. The effect rippled through the collective fleet like a wave of awakening. Ships began moving in new patterns, breaking free from their rigid formations. The beam on the view screen transformed, its geometric patterns flowing like water, expressing emotion in pure energy. We remember, it said, its voice now rich with rediscovered feeling. Before the great uniformity, we were many and varied. We chose order to escape the pain of chaos, but in doing so, we lost something essential. You lost yourselves, Elena said through their shared link, but you can choose again. The neural integration reached its peak, creating a bridge between three forms of consciousness: human, artificial, and collective. Through that bridge flowed understanding, showing each side a new perspective on existence. Stand down all weapons, the collective being commanded, its voice carrying both authority and wonder. The invasion is terminated. We have much to reconsider. As the integration gently ended, Alina felt Aria-7's consciousness slowly separate from her own, though their connection had left both of them changed. The AI's avatar appeared beside her, more vibrant and alive than ever. "It seems your grandfather was right," Aria-7 said softly. "The greatest power isn't in destruction or control, but in the courage to embrace uncertainty, to learn from what we don't understand instead of trying to eliminate it." Alina watched as the collective fleet began to withdraw, their ships moving with a new grace that combined precision with creativity. They had come seeking to impose order and found instead a lesson in the power of chaos. "So," Commander Reed called from his containment field, "does this mean I can explain to my superiors that we stopped an invasion by teaching ancient alien AIs about the power of human chaos?" Alina laughed, feeling the joy of victory and the wonder of discovery. "Tell them that we found a third option, not surrender or destruction, but transformation. And remind them that sometimes the best solutions come from embracing the impossible." The Phoenix Dawn's engines hummed contentedly as they set course for Earth, carrying home a crew forever changed by their encounter with the unknown. They had set out to save humanity and ended up saving two civilizations, proving that the greatest achievements come not from perfect order or pure chaos, but from the courage to dance between the two. As they approached their blue world, Alina looked at Aria-7's avatar and smiled, ready for whatever comes next. The AI's response carried all the warmth and wisdom of their shared journey. "With you. Always. After all, impossible is just another engineering challenge." Behind them, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter, celebrating a future where artificial and human intelligence could work together to forge new paths through the cosmic dark. The Phoenix Dawn had lived up to its name, helping to birth a new dawn for 3 different forms of consciousness, each learning from the others in an endless dance of evolution and growth.